it's Doris with All of the Books, and I'm here for check-in number 2 of my 30 books in 30 days, 31 days, something like that, this month in July. So I believe I left you 1, 2, 3, 4, being caught up 10 for 10. I am not 20 for 20 at the moment, but I still have a little bit of hope. I have finished 7 more books. I finished these Monday, so I gave myself 11 days. That's why I'm going for 31 now. So I gave myself 11 days. So that was the 22nd. So on the 22nd, I had 17 books completed. And today is the 24th, and I have 18 books completed. So anyway, let's just see what they were. I finished Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. This is a science fiction, biology focus, which is, you know, my specialty. And I was really caught up in the premise of this book. It's, I guess, set here in the States, and there's an Area X. Actually, I don't know if it's the States, but anyway. There's an Area X that is mysterious and cordoned off, and they periodically send a group of scientists and other investigators to explore and try to figure it out. Their mysterious circumstances surrounding it, dark circumstances at times. And yeah, it's a really interesting premise as they're beginning to explore this area, this new team that goes in. And yeah, I did say it was an interesting premise, right? But once I got past the premise, it kind of circled around itself too often without doing an awful lot of anything. And I was kind of bored and interested at the same time. So now that I'm past the premise, I don't think I will be continuing with this series. But I still have his other standalone, I think, Born, that I'm excited to get into because, like I said, it was a really interesting premise. And then I finished Towers Falling by Jewel Parker Rhodes. This is a middle grade novel set 15 years after the Twin Towers 9/11 in New York City. And I wasn't sure if I was going to like it. I don't always like contemporary middle grade. This one really reeled me in. It's set with a girl whose family is homeless. They're living in a shelter, the whole family, dad, mom, and siblings. And she's in a new school, and the school is, their unit focus for this, I guess, 9 weeks is the actual Twin Towers. And it's something you don't think about, but kids don't necessarily know anything about it because, you know, we're getting to be a couple decades removed from the event, and, you know, children wouldn't know. I just thought this was handled, you know, friendships. There's a Muslim girl that becomes best friends and another little boy. And yeah, it's just great dealing with themes that are really important for this age level. But again, I enjoyed it as an adult for the most part. But yeah, themes of friendship and discrimination and prejudice and 9/11 and homelessness, all kinds of things. I think this was a good read for that age group. This one's written on a 4th grade level. And then Sean and I finished Sonny Liston Was a Friend of Mine by Tom Jones. We have a review video, a dual review out of this. Neither one of us loved it. It wasn't a complete miss for me, but, you know, 3 stars. So yeah, interesting conversation we had though. And then I finished The Magician's Assistant by Ann Patchett. So this is my 4th Ann Patchett, and I have enjoyed all 4 of the reads. State of Wonder is my all-time favorite. That's the one set in the Amazon. This one might also be my favorite. I can't decide between the two at all. I remember Chris of Chris's Bookish Cauldron loving this last year, and so I was like, oh, I gotta get to that. And I was not disappointed. Oh, this was so good. It's just a very gentle read, very gentle read. It's an LGBTQ plus read, and I don't know, there's magic in it. And I know I said just recently that magic isn't my thing in novels, but this one was so good. I guess it didn't dwell on the magical stuff too much. She just did a great job of reeling you in and making you wonder about your own thoughts and predispositions and prejudices, and then having this little plot curve that made you think about an entirely different set of things and still reflect on the other set of things. And there's family and forgiveness and new beginnings, and yeah, this was a good one. Then this was a great one. When I Was Puerto Rican by Esmeralda Santiago. Oh, this book is magical. This is a memoir, so nonfiction, centered around, it's a coming of age, but I mean, in a nonfiction, you know. But what a brilliant writer. This is so very engaging. It starts out when Esmeralda is like 7 or 8, and this one goes through her early teen years. But there are more, and I am so going to get them soon. Yeah, but you're immersed in this family that's kind of beginning to fall apart, and it starts off in Puerto Rico, and you go from the country to the city and back and forth and back and forth, and then finally to New York, and the transition, and from an immigrant's perspective, and also living between two worlds linguistically and culturally. And I am just here for this. Oh my goodness, this book is so good, really good. And then I finished Tin Man by Sarah Winman. This one was talked about quite a bit a couple years ago. This is another LGBTQ plus novel, and this one is just, again, this is a very gentle read, very much like the Ann Patchett, but dealing with friendships and different kinds of friendships and love and different kinds of love and how life goes on. Just really another beautiful one. And finally, I finished Jessamine Ward's Salvage the Bones. This Jessamine Ward has become very renowned in the last few years, and this is my third of hers. I read Sing and Buried Sing and The Fire This Time, which she has an essay in, but she collected that one, edited it. So yeah, this is centered around New Orleans, Louisiana area, right as Hurricane Katrina is hitting. It's set over, I think, a 10-day period in time, and you're focusing on a family, 12 days. You're focusing on a family, the dad and 4 children, one of them a girl, teenage girl, she's 15, and then 2 brothers, but the third brother is quite a bit younger, Junior they call him. and the mother passed away in childbirth with that last son. So it's very family centric. It's very friendship centric. There's a lot of several close friends that are involved in this story, but it's very isolated. You're mostly on the property of the family and a couple times in town. But yeah, I loved several things about it. The chapters dealing with Hurricane Katrina were just brilliantly written, really gorgeous. 5 stars if that was a short story. The chapter about the pit bull, while it was unpleasant to read, was very dynamic. There are things in the story like the parallels between the problematic aspects of the family swirling into disaster, paralleled with this hurricane itself, was really neat. The idea, which I didn't think about till the very end when I'd finished, about the matriarch in the family being gone and how hard that was for the family and how they never really recovered from that. But there were also things that didn't really resonate with me. The characters are all written very stereotypically, and I wasn't quite sure about that. I don't feel like she gave enough explanation as to why she went that route with her characters. Some of the characters' motives I just questioned, and I ultimately felt like she tried to do too much, which is a rarity with me because I like all those things. I like a bit of overwritten prose, if you will, and I like a few extra themes in there, but her whole, parallels with the hurricane and the pit bulls and the Medea and the stereotypes and the Southern imagery, it just didn't all come together for me. Maybe it was supposed to be messy, but I was left at the end thematically not really engaging with what the author was saying. It didn't really resonate with me. So it's a book where I think the writing is indeed beautiful, and people who love this book, I totally get why they would, but ultimately I didn't connect with it in that way, I guess. Anyway, so that's what I've got so far. I'm right on the edge of finishing a couple more, but hoping to find that oomph to get me over the top and hit 30, but 18 is pretty good thus far, right? And I feel confident to hit the 20, maybe 25 for sure. Maybe we'll see. Stay tuned. I'll have another check-in at the end of Reading Rush. So thanks so much for watching, and I will be back soon. Bye.